Right, it doesn't let you go both. You can pick one or the other. So
Live on Facebook.
like it keeps you in this endless cycle. And there we go. We are live on Facebook. Okay, we'll do that there. All right, let's kick this off. Welcome to the first live interview we have here. I'm Jason Durr. I'm one half of Ballcaps and Bagpipes. My partner John couldn't be here tonight. I'm also the owner of Dugout Classic, so I'm the European part of this here. But I am lucky to have the two founders who came up with the idea and launched it here. I've got Tad Richardson of Curveball Keepsakes, and I have Travis Stewart of Johnnie Studios. Guys, welcome. Glad to have you on board here.
Thanks, Bubba.
Thanks, Jason.
Cool. So let's start us off. So how did this idea come around? I mean, I'm honored that you guys asked me to do it. But you know, let's start from the beginning.
Right. Well, you were actually one of the first people that I reached out to. Right. So the campaign is based off of a model, and what we're obviously talking about is our virtual art show and benefit sale for the Negro League's baseball museum. And the idea is based off of a campaign that I created for the benefit of locally owned restaurants and Meals on Wheels in Spokane, Washington. So real similar structure to this campaign. And I got thinking about my little struggling business, Curveball Keepsakes, and frankly thinking about liquidating that business. But once that thought process started going, I thought about applying that Waffles for Wheels campaign model to this problem of me wanting to generate some revenue as a small business owner, and recognizing the opportunity to create a large community of people who have very similar objectives as small business owners, and to lock arms with a really valuable and contextually relevant nonprofit. And for all of us in this baseball and baseball arts community, I think most of us are deep baseball nerds, and we appreciate the history that the Negro League's baseball has, and the story, the very unique story that it has to tell in American history. So it was really a perfect combination of needs right now, which is the Negro League's Baseball Museum is in the midst of their 100-year anniversary celebration of the Negro Leagues, and we are a community of small business people and artists who are struggling right now. So here we are now, over 75 artists committed so far, and we're hoping to get to 100.
Well, the feedback's been positive out here. I'm hoping that to hear that from your guys' side, you guys are getting a lot of contact from people saying this is a great idea. Have you heard much from anybody that's outside the artist so far?
Well, let me first also back up one tick and say that kind of going back to the formation of the campaign and how it kind of came to be, was that first step was asking a whole bunch of people in the art community that I've come to know, yourself included, if this sounded like something that you'd be interested in participating in. And once we had about maybe 10 to a dozen people, probably less than that, frankly, because I like to get excited about things, that's when I brought the idea to Travis. And Travis and Johnnie Studio had actually been talking to me about working with me on the Waffles for Wheels campaign, but the pandemic really took that thing sideways. And Travis is a pretty deep baseball nerd too, as it turns out, and so this felt like a layup, I think, to Travis. Maybe that's the wrong term about for a baseball.
Mixing our sports metaphors there, right? This was an easy fly out to left, I guess would be the best way to say it. Look, when Tad and I started talking about it, I've been in the agency and creative space for a long time, and this was one of those rare situations that was just at its core a great idea that served a lot of different groups of people all equally well. Everybody won in this kind of an idea, in this kind of a situation. And so Tad's right, we've been talking to him about waffle spirals already. And so when he started looking at this specific idea for the museum, I and the company were particularly excited because we're like, this is just a great time and a great event to be a part of, right? You know, a lot of the work that we do in the creative and agency space fits like a lot of really complex, you know, business objectives and everything. But this was just a great idea that served the right people, the right communities. It worked for, you know, the baseball environment, it worked for the small business and artist environment, and most importantly, it worked as a primary driver, we think of, to put a conversation about racial justice and injustice there. You can't do better than that. And so to your original question, Jason, of like, what is some of the conversations started to look like outside of the artist community? That's really just beginning. And I think that was always by design and always as expected, is once the actual campaign page was live, that this was going to start growing organically and reaching a lot of different people, organizations, communities, businesses. And that's what we want it to do. That's really how communication should be sparked in this modern digital age, is through a lot of like natural organic growth moving from one area to the next. So I think a lot of that script is kind of now to be written over the next 3 to 4 weeks. And that's the most exciting part about it.
Yep. Yeah, I would add that what Travis is kind of touching on here is that the campaign really is designed to work virally, for lack of a better term. But it's about advocate marketing. It's about people understanding, teaching people, I guess, how to use their platforms, which, you know, for all of us now, social media is a platform to vote, you know, with how you engage on social media. So, you know, support the people, the organizations and the businesses that you believe in. And so this is an opportunity for us to really grow something organically. And it's most fun for me, I think, when the questions start coming to us. You know, the last 2 months has been all about, you know, sending emails and picking up the phone and talking to people and trying to get people to believe in a vision. And now that we actually have something tangible launched, thanks to Travis and his team with NLBMArt.com, now people are coming back to us that we've reached out to, and also just gravitating toward us with great questions. So more to come, Jason. There's going to be there could be some very interesting developments. We'll say that.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of it. So I'm curious, how did that conversation go when you called up the Negro League Baseball Museum and said, "Hey, look, I got this idea." What do you have to say on there? I mean, I know most of us are small artists or makers. I mean, I run a history blog in Scotland about baseball, so you know my audience is pretty small at times here. But you know, that's just not something I would have wrapped my head around to say, you know what, I'm going to make this phone call and see what happens with this.
Yeah. Well, the first volley, I guess, over to the museum was really just, I believe it was an Instagram direct message that I sent to Bob Kendrick, the museum president. And what I've come to learn over the last several months is that Bob is probably one of the most contacted people on the face of this planet. That man, I think, is receiving more inquiries from people who are interested in doing something with the museum. And I applaud him for his effort to get back to people. And I know that it's not easy for him to get back to every inquiry. He happened to get back to us, said, "Sounds like a cool idea." And then we just started building our slideware, as we call it, started building the proposal and sent that to him. He said it looked like a great idea. Even gave us a little quote to use in trying to recruit more folks on board. But the original, it took us probably a few exchanges through email and instant message before we actually, Travis and I, had a call with him. And to date, we've still just, I think, had one phone call with Bob.
Mm-hmm.
But he couldn't have been more accommodating, and he couldn't have been more welcoming to the idea and appreciative of all of the work from the art community. And I think I would leave it at that. Travis, what were your takeaways from that first call?
You know, there's rare kind of people in the world who can see and process vision at vision stage, right? That's how I would phrase it. Tad is obviously one of these people because the vision started with him, which isn't even rare for him. But I think Bob is one of those types that was able to hear vision and go with it and feel okay saying like, yep, I have that in my head. I see the mission, go for it. And I think there was a lot of trust there for him to say like, yep, the museum is okay. Like, you know, essentially assigning our brand and the brand value and equity over to this concept and idea. Without that, I mean, we would have found some way to come to, you know, campaign fruition, but it would not have been the same. And so in that way, we're both really grateful, I think, to Bob, but also very much in awe of him in the sense that someone was able to kind of capture that vision really early and feel comfortable being a part of that and alongside of it. So,
yeah.
So speaking of the museum, now what is their current status? They were closed for quite a bit. They're now open. Am I correct? You guys know?
I think they are for limited access, but that you know brings up the point that this is you know we have a handshake agreement with Bob. We have a gentleman's agreement. We're not spokespeople for the museum. We're spokespeople for the community. But it's really fun to create some opportunities for people with the museum, which is part of the point.
Yeah.
No, I think it's exciting. It's one of those things I have not been able to go and see myself, but it's on the list. Like my wife is all about, you've got to do that Great American Road Trip. So my wife's Swedish. So yeah. So last time we went on the big road trip. We went from Seattle to Spokane, and all she did was complain about the 6-hour drive and how she'd be in Norway or Denmark. So
I don't think the Great American Road Trip is going to work for her.
It took 6 hours to go from Seattle to Spokane. You're driving too slow, man.
Okay, so 6 hours. I mean, we're talking Deer Lake. So.
Oh yeah. Okay. That's right.
Right. So yeah. So yeah. I don't know if she's going to survive this Great American Road Trip, but we'll see what happens.
Well, you know, that brings up a really interesting point. I would say too that you know, again, over the last couple of months, I've talked to probably at least a couple hundred people, and I've heard from more than one person how little they knew, not just about the Negro League Museum, but about the Negro Leagues at all. Mm-hmm. And this is from both people who know baseball and people who don't. In fact, one of, I would say, probably thus far the biggest baseball fan that I've come across told me that even on his first several trips to Kansas City, he didn't realize that the museum was there.
Oh, wow.
And so now that he figured it out and has been there, he said, you know, he makes a point to take every friend of his there and recommend it to everyone, which tends to be, I think, the more common experience that people have had with the museum is, yeah, I didn't really realize that it even existed. And that's, you know, again, why we're doing this. We want people to understand that it's there. It's an absolute gem. I think that there's probably a lot of us who first came to know about the Negro Leagues through the Ken Burns series and know about Buck O'Neill in particular through the Ken Burns series. And so, you know, he at that time became the actual embodiment of the Negro Leagues and the face and the spokesperson for them and the museum. And so for a lot of us, I think, I don't know, I felt that's when I guess learned about the efforts of the museum itself. And so I made the mistake of assuming that everybody understood that too. And so it's really great now seeing how little people know about the museum. It makes me feel all the better about doing this.
No, that's great. It's, I think I've got some feedback from people already watching the live video there. No big deal there. Just seeing if anyone was commenting. Well, so like I said, it's all exciting, but you've got a product to sell. Let's hear about Curveball Keepsakes. I've got my bracelet on.
Oh, we're good on you, man. I actually I can. Yeah, this is actually a even better idea. I just happen to have this thing sitting right here.
I mean, I even still have the box. It lets me know that I kept the box still, and I know it was a Kyle Seager base hit. So let's hear about it.
So that I think that one. Correct me if I'm wrong. Was that a Kyle Seager base hit during Felix's last game with the Mariners?
It was. That's the one.
Yeah. So the idea for Curveball Keepsakes happened probably around 1991. I was in college, and like every single kid who likes baseball, at some point early in their life, they take a baseball apart and find out that there's a bunch of yarn in there, which seems so illogical. Side note, a buddy of mine actually said that he took a baseball apart as a kid and found a bunch of wadded up cigarette butts. Yeah, so you don't know what you're going to find, but I found yarn, and I happened to learn how to braid when I was in 3rd grade for a craft project at school. So I braided myself just a simple 3-strand necklace out of some baseball yarn, and I literally tied it around my neck and wore it 24/7 for probably 2 years when I was in college. And that's when the idea came into my head that it'd be cool to do that with baseballs that have been used in games. And then I don't know how many years later, 20 or 30, 2014, I started tinkering around with the idea a little bit more. And my thought was to make necklaces. And I found this braiding style that made these nice tight ropes. And I found this simple magnetic clasp. And I bought a game used baseball. It was another Felix Hernandez pitch to Prince Fielder. And it was from a 2012 game. And took it apart, made myself a necklace, and thought, man, people are going to love these. And I'm also a craft show junkie. So I wanted to just see if the idea would float. So I did, it was Christmas of 2017, did a show that happened to be a benefit for a local high school baseball team, a Christmas bazaar. And I brought a bunch of necklaces. I made a few bracelets and then just some other stuff out of the leather, very little. And I made I won't want to say made, but I grossed like $1,300 right out of the gate in one show. And I thought, holy cow. Holy cow. We're onto something.
This is not a child-friendly show. Swear away.
So then it just developed from there. So now, but the bracelets are the thing that really took off at the markets. I've been selling them around Seattle at the local markets and vendor fairs over the last couple of years. Rebranded into Curveball Keepsakes with the help. Actually, the branding was all done by Daniel Harine. He's on Instagram, Daniel Jacob the Maker, who does incredible work and is helping out with our campaign too. But with his help, frankly, his vision on the brand is really what made it get to the point that it got at the end of last year, which is all rebranded and repackaged, and then COVID. So I've also had just a lot of different thinking in my head about how I want to take this business forward or not. But it's definitely been fun to make it happen. What I geek out on is buying all these baseballs that have been authenticated by major leagues and doing the research on them. They come with a number. If you've bought authenticated merch from MLB game use stuff, you know how that works. But there's a little bit of information about each ball that I get that's in their database, but I have fun going into Baseball Reference and pulling up the box score and seeing what other kind of things might have happened in that game that were significant, and then telling the story about the game and passing that on with each piece that we make. So we do stuff with the rope products were the first idea and the impetus for the business. The leather stuff that came out of it was really just byproduct. Like, what do we do with all this leather now? Anyway, that's Curveball Keepsakes, I think.
You think? Yeah, let's see. You've got like earrings. Was it cufflinks? You've got obviously the bracelets. You've got your stickers there. You can show right in the background there. You've got your 6 feet 6 inches. Your 755. Is there anything else I'm missing?
No, the like I said, the leather stuff really. I'm not a jeweler by any stretch. And so what I found was a local here in Washington State. They're up on the peninsula, I think in Port Angeles or Port Townsend. A local producer of some really great silver and gold plated settings. So really all I needed to learn how to do was to operate a leather hand punch and a mallet to knock little swatches of leather out of the cover and then glue them into these settings. Cement them sounds better than glue. Cement them into these settings, but really, really great stuff. The settings look fantastic, and they're all silver and gold plated. I also have a supplier of stainless steel products like money clips, golf tools. I'm probably missing something else that he does. I am definitely missing keychains, bottle cap keychains. He's based in South Dakota. So I try to keep everything sourced locally, but frankly, that's one of the hardest things about retail is controlling your sources.
Right. And Travis, you set up the website and helped you there. What more can you tell me about Johnnie Studio? Give yourself a pitch here while you get a chance.
Yeah, so I mean, my background is in sports. I was in sports before I was in agencies. So when I was back in Texas, kind of grew up on Killer Bees baseball. I guess I just dated myself in my own weird way. But I grew up in sports as a sports junkie. So, I've found that everyone in life is a Wikipedia junkie in one way. Mine was always like, oh, I heard about an athlete. Then I would go, Wikipedia didn't exist at the time. It was like either encyclopedias or my dad's baseball cards or my cards or whatever. And you link this topic to this topic to this topic to this topic. And then you slowly grow until you've learned what you think is everything is to know. And then you find the next little chapter of a story and then you run off that way. And so when I got out of college, I went into football, and I was in football for almost a decade with, TV and radio programming and magazine and stuff like that. And that was just kind of like my life. And I'd been in sports for so long that I just needed like a cleanser. I just kind of needed to restart a little bit, stepped away and kind of went into agency life. And I've been there ever since. And so a couple years ago, I decided there's got to be a better way to do agency life than the way I'm currently doing agency life. So with a couple partners, we all kind of broke away from our agency jobs and started our own. And one of the key things that we wanted to put in play for ourselves as a company, as Johnnie, was we wanted to make sure that we always had enough time in our day, both as owning partners, but then also for, the team that we hired, and we're up to almost 30 full-time employees now. The team that we hired, that they would have time to pursue their passions, whether that was their own personal development or things that they felt like were important to them. So when, Tad came to me and we were talking about this idea, it was the perfect way to embody that value prop for ourselves. And so, I sat down with our partner team and some of my reports and said, like, I need to take some time a little bit on the side each day to work on this because this is important, right? This is important for me as a person, and that's okay. But this is important because it makes a difference, right? And this has the ability to actually drive real impact for real people and real organizations and real memories and stories. And we need to do that. I need to do that. And it's been a wonderful opportunity for me to engage in sports again for a little bit, which is always a passion, and that's wonderful. But just to be able to drive that like heartbeat impact every day, or at least be a part of it, right? To kind of working with Tad as his mind and vision thing has been fantastic. And, when we think about Johnnie Studio as a company, yeah, we're a traditional content and creative agency working with a lot of B2B and B2C brands across, the entire world, working on a lot of different biz objectives. The company itself is actually named for my mom's mom, who passed many years ago, but she had a very specific set of passions and abilities, and as both an artist, right? She was a drawer herself very many years ago, but also just as a person of incredible will. And so we always felt like she was a great avatar for the agency as a whole. And when Tad and I were first talking about this idea, a lot of times when we have like, you know, projects that we can work on, whether it's a full-blown new client or whether it's something smaller or whether it's a passion project or something in between, a lot of times we'll hold that up against the candle of, is this something that Johnnie the woman would support? Is this something that she would think makes the world better, right? Or makes people better? And this is something that Johnnie absolutely would have supported. And so, you know, once Tad and I talked about it the first time, I was like, yep, that clears that bar easily. And I feel like Johnnie the woman, right, kind of is a little bit of a guide in this sense, right? She a lot of times tells us what's right, I think, in a lot of ways. And this felt right. And, you know, when you think about not just the campaign and the program, but also the artwork that a lot of these artists are doing, and that Tad himself is doing with Curveball Keepsakes, you know, starting off in football for so many years, right, in such a visible position as I was inundated with swag, just like 24/7, 365. Right. There's always 7 boxes of swag at my house from teams or players or other brands or you know, apparel brands, whatever it is. I always had a ton of stuff. And part of the reason I needed to like take a break from that industry is because I just had like so much stuff. And I only saved a couple things that felt like really unique and powerful from my time there, right? And since that point, still being a sports junkie as I am, I only collect memorabilia or items or whatever that feels like it carries something that I want to have like in perpetuity. So when I saw Tad stuff for Curveball, I was like, that is something I would want to have in perpetuity. And so that's kind of how our, you know, our friendship and relationship started. And we've kind of gone, you know, from there in a lot of ways. So, you know, yeah, what I do is I run an agency and I'm a designer and a copywriter and all the things that entails. But I think what my heart is I'm a passionate guy about sports, about making an impact, about making a difference. And if I was going to talk anything about me or that, or, you know, my life or my company today, it would be that, because I think that's the thing that's most important, really.
No, I couldn't agree more. I'm a stay-at-home dad, and I found when it was off, it was more of what am I going to do? The hell of that. I've worked in tech, and I was off for so long that everything's passed me by. And it was like, okay, what do I enjoy? It's like baseball. I said, like, what can I do to keep baseball around? So that's really awesome to hear that you'd be able to combine everything as a passion and still follow that. And I mean, that's always really hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. And, you know, in America right now, right, there's a lot of hard conversations going on. And what I'm trying to think about a lot of days is when I wake up, how am I additively being a part of that conversation, right? How am I, my partners, and our company using the whatever advantages or resources we have, right, to help better those conversations and drive those conversations. And you know, with this idea, with Tad's idea, I think Tad phrased it beautifully in some of our press material that we had put out there. Of essentially, we look back to the history of the Negro Leagues because there's a lot of great lessons there that mean a lot right now that people need to know about, they need to learn about. And that is something that makes me feel like we're being additive to that conversation every day.
Sorry, we're having appearances from both my daughters here.
This is great. This is ideal. This is work from home life, like in a nutshell. This is where we all are, yeah?
You gonna wave, Daisy? No.
Daisy?
No. Yeah, he's like, nah.
You haven't earned my respect yet, she says.
It's bedtime over here because it is like 7:30 at night. So obviously Minions isn't keeping them very interested.
She has the sleepies. She looks like she's got the sleepies right now.
Yeah, this is her bedtime. So, okay, well, we'll wrap this up here because it's bedtime here. But before we go, let you guys pitch the website, and then we're gonna open up a pack of cards.
There they are. I have this special baseball.
Oh wow! Yeah. Baseball says, "I love you."
My mom.
Up there, come on, girl. All right, well, there we go. This is work at home life, isn't it? All right. All right.
Yep.
So,
you've got a My Little Pony. I don't have one of those handy.
Yes, I've learned all about My Little Ponies and everything else the girls like. And actually, Dahlia was super excited because she got Anika Orok's book on the women's baseball league, and you liked that book, didn't you?
Oh, that's cool.
So we're hoping we're going to interview Anika, and we might let her stay up late to say hello there.
Oh my gosh, I think Anika would love to read them a story.
That's fly.
Yeah, about the women's baseball league. Okay, I think we're tired
That's
too. So I've got 5 packs of baseball cards here. I've got 89 Donruss. I've got 90 Score, 91 Upper Deck, 92 Pinnacle, and 93 Studio. So
Ooh.
which ones you guys want to pick to open? And we'll open it up and we'll talk cards. What memories you guys get from this? Because you guys keep the old school ones. I got a couple new ones for the guys who are only recently into baseball. But I know you guys collected cards in the 90s. You have something there.
Yep. Do we each get to pick one or just one?
Yeah, we can do both here. I can do it. So
I know which one I want already, but I'll let Travis go first.
I mean, a lot of my best memories for cards were Upper Deck. So that's the second you said that resonated for me. Tad, did I just steal your thunder? I hope not.
Nope. No. I know this is the one Tad wants.
Nope.
Oh, really?
I know what's in there. Don't need it.
Score, Pinnacle, Leaf, or
I got it. Now I'm hoping that the Studio is the one where it's just really like, I remember one of my favorite Studio edition cards, if it was the maroon border.
Oh, I have that one. I have that one.
Harold Reynolds.
I got that. That's the original one. That's a 91 score. All right.
There you go. I do that one for me, man. I remember the Harold Reynolds one, and I remember some really great like Jerry curl mullets.
Yep.
In that set. So it's a favorite.
I think we all had that haircut at some point.
There's a great one with Steve Lake, and he's got a parrot on his shoulder.
Oh, fantastic.
So we'll see if we can pull that one there. Don't make faces. Come on. All right, so we'll start this off here. And we've got, with the Cardinals, we got Rex Hudler. And we've got, this is Ron Gant, the Upper Deck card there.
Nice. Ronnie Gant had to have been juicing, right? I'd like to look at these 90s cards and go, juicer.
Dave Parker for the Brewers.
The Cobra.
Hey.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Rare appearance with the Brewers.
I don't remember him at the Brewers, but okay.
Yeah.
Kirk McCaskill for the Angels.
Kirk McCaskill.
Mark Leonard. All right.
What's going on over there?
All rise, huh? You got the all rise thing.
Got Judge Daughter.
John Russell for the Rangers. I don't remember him. Catcher. Oh, here you go. You guys recognize this one.
Third string catchers.
Fernando Valenzuela.
Oh,
nice.
That's fantastic card right there.
That's a great card, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was right towards the end. We got the Rangers 3D hologram there.
Hey, Texas friends.
All right. Got Mickey Templeton.
Oh,
nice.
One of the weirdest batting stances of all time, right?
Yeah, there you go. He's standing straight up.
Yep.
It's like Derek Bell.
Didn't he eat Fruit Loops for breakfast every day or before a game? What was that one of his things there?
Something like that. I definitely remember him eating something weird. I trust you on that one.
Okay. Donnie Hill for the Angels. I don't really remember him. There you go. Chuck Finley.
The Mariners.
All right, you leaving, Daisy? All right, don't pull anything up. See you later. All right, come on. Let's go.
That's how I used to, will open up old baseball card packs. Bye. Who were the guys that the Mariners let get away who turned into superstars or stars at some point? And flat out dominated the Mariners like Chuck Finley.
Now, didn't he date a model that was like?
Was he Tawny Katane?
Yes, yeah. She was like the White Snake girl
lady
on the car.
Yeah. I don't know if I would date anybody after White Snake, but whatever.
All right, we got a Hall of Famer here. Tom Glavine.
There you go.
Not too bad.
I loved him growing up.
Back to back. Sweet Lou Whitaker.
Oh, nice. I love Lou Whitaker.
It's funny because I open these with guys from over here, and they're like, "Never heard of him. Never heard of him." there you go. Steve Cersei. He's a
Cersei.
lefty for that. Yeah, I remember him.
I remember
That's a great card.
he had his rookie card. He was part of the, like, it was like, is that 91, 90? Anyway, I just remember getting a lot of his rookie cards and hoping, God, I hope this guy makes it. Him and Mike Harkey.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Remember the Harkey was almost drafted by the Mariners instead of Griffey. There was conversations. They wanted Harkey because he was a college pitcher and would make an immediate impact. They had to be talked out of picking Mike Harkey, and they took Griffey instead. It kind of worked for us for once.
I was about to say, I feel like that panned out.
Did okay.
Yeah, here's another guy we probably collected a ton of his cards. I hope he went really well, but Juan Gonzalez.
Juan Gon.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Juan is like all kinds of things, because clearly he juiced. He had a fantastic mullet early in his career. and he, and nobody, maybe nobody looked better in one of those tight 80s uniforms than Juan Gonzalez.
He also had great nicknames, which was like when you were a kid or a younger guy following baseball, like the quality and number of your nicknames as a player was always like such a status symbol. And he definitely was near league tops for that.
I just got my card, or some of my cards sent over from, like, I haven't touched since 91. And I remember looking through that, and I had like 4 sheets of Juan Gonzalez. I was like, all right, that didn't work out too well.
Yep. I at one time I separated out all my real good cards, and I priced it all out, and this was probably in the early 2000s, right before the steroid scandal. And this one little box of cards, the book value on it was like 10 grand. And a significant part of that was in McGuire's and Gonzalez's.
All right, so the last one for that product, we've got the Rocket, Roger Clemens.
Ooh.
Oh man, there's a lot of emotions mixed into that.
But that was a pretty good pack. A couple Hall of Famers, a couple of really good guys there.
Man, you nailed it.
Yeah, that was fun. All right, so let me see. What did I do with that score pack? Let's see. Oh, there it is. All right, so this
Jerry Curl.
I never opened it, bought any of these, because I don't know if I thought they were ugly or it was just right at the end when girls are more interesting or not. But yeah, this is the first year of the studio.
We might even get some shirtless ones. Look at that, Dave Stewart.
Dave Stewart. Yeah.
No, he doesn't look so intimidating there, does he?
No. Here we go. We got a Kirk McCaskill.
Yes.
There's him back again there. All right. BJ Surhoff.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, these photos are great.
I bought these for that. I mean, Greg Swindell.
I want to see one of a guy with his foot on the bumper of his 91 Honda Accord.
Let's see if I can find it.
Senior photo.
I got Scott Sanderson.
Oh, that's good hair.
Yeah.
Gosh, his hair is perfect. It's like a shell.
It's a helmet of hair.
Yes.
Mo Vaughn.
Oh, look at him. He looks huge, even in a baseball card up that close.
Yeah, he's a big dude. All right. This is pretty cool. Kurt Stillwell. Look at that.
Oh, gosh.
Exactly. This is why I like these cards. It really is like they went into a studio and it was just like, okay, well, it's end shot like that.
Is the Spurs logo on the back of these all shot at J.C. Penney?
All right, we've got a Mariner here.
Uh-oh.
Dave Valley.
Oh, Dave Valley. So I don't know if everybody knows this one, but Jason, you probably remember Swannies, the old bar Swannies.
Yeah. I think it's not around anymore.
From the Kingdom? No, it's gone. Now the Irish. So here's the funny thing about Swannies is, first of all, back in the day, Swans used to set the drink of their well prices at whatever Dave Valley's batting practice was. Batting average was. So there were some times when you could go to Swannies and get a gin and tonic for $1.80. I don't think Val was too happy about that. But Swannies was actually owned by a cat who pitched for the Portland Mavericks. If you watch the Battered Bastards of Baseball on Netflix, yeah, Swanee. He was the owner.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense now. You know what's really funny is like I went to Oregon State, and one of the girls I knew through a friend, her dad played for the Mavericks, and it was no one mentioned it then. Like no one cared,
Right.
and I was just like, she's not gonna remember me from like 15 years ago. That just some random guy at a party there. But just, oh man, that would have been cool to actually meet your dad and get some of those cool stories out now.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. We got 2 cards left.
Only 2?
Yeah, they didn't come much in the studio. So we got Billy Hatcher.
Billy Hatcher. I'm like, who is that? Yep.
So he was actually my roommate at Oregon State's cousin.
Oh, no kidding.
Get out of there.
So I'll go and say that there. Yeah, he played football at Oregon State, and his brother played for the Bills for like a season like that there. So yeah, so it was they were a pretty good family. But I saw the final card here, and you're not going to believe it.
It's Harold Reynolds.
It's the Steve Lake card.
Oh my gosh, what are the odds?
Fantastic.
How did you? That's like a magic trick. What you just did.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it myself here. I'm sitting there like, we pulled the card off. So
you like called the Queen of Hearts and pulled it. That's crazy.
Okay. So yeah, so we pulled that. Then actually, I pulled this card out of there when I opened a pack with another guy. But I have this John Wetland card with him and his guitar because he used to play.
Yep.
Oh man,
Awesome.
those were beautiful. Thank you. That was a treat.
Cool. All right, guys. We'll call it a night here. Thanks for coming on. I can't wait to see how this campaign takes off. I'm super excited about it. We'll be on pretty much every night as long as everyone signs up there. We'll interview there, and we'll check in with you guys later, see how progress is going. And I can't thank you enough for coming on.
Oh, well, thanks for having us. Remember, visit NLBMArt.com and take a look at all the amazing artists. There's I think we got 78 and counting now who are actually on the website, and I'm going to go load some more up right now.
Awesome.
Right,
thanks for having us, buddy. We appreciate you.
Yeah, no problem at all. And we'll talk again soon. All right. Take care, guys.
Thanks, Jason.